All right. I think we can get started. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Please do help us out by taking a minute to share this live stream. We've got a really important discussion that we're going to have with you all today, and some really important information that is very timely for some key dates that are coming up starting tomorrow. But before we dive into that, I just want to welcome you all to this conversation. With me today, we have County Board Supervisors, including Chair Matt Ryan and County Board Supervisor Patrice Horseman, and also our Flagstaff City Mayor Paul Deasy. Thank you all for being with us. Really appreciate your time and your work for our community and on this topic of the Independent Redistricting Committee. And so I'd like to turn it over to our county board chair, Matt Ryan, to speak a little bit to the history and the background of this topic. And then we're going to go into the county's position and then the city's position. And then we're going to talk about upcoming important dates and ways to engage. So Chair Ryan, please take it away.
All right. Well, thank you, Adam, and thank you, everybody. And it's great to be here with Patrice, with Paul, Mayor and Supervisor, and Adam, of course, Council Member. So just simply, and we're going to flow with the conversation. Every 10 years, we have the census, and with the census, with changes in population, it's time to take a look at how to define our state legislative districts, our congressional districts, as well as actually the county supervisor districts. Today, we're not going to talk about the county supervisor one. We'll be doing that work a little bit later on in the next month or so people can tap into that. But a piece that we're focused on is more so the state legislative districts. That'll be the dominant piece of the conversation here. For the past month, the Independent Redistricting Commission has been holding listening sessions, and then with that drew a final map that they put out before the public. And with that map, they have suggested legislative districts. Once they have done that, then they set a clock in motion to provide the opportunity for 30 days of comments. And they are going to have a town hall this Saturday, as well as they're traveling to the communities. As Adam will note, this next Wednesday is a really important focal point for this. This is a key time. This is a time that the clock's ticking. These maps are almost locked in because they've been working on them for the past couple months here. And it's a time for us to come up with a groundswell to suggest, your maps, they're not really what represent our communities of interest. And so the county got involved early on, knowing we've been through this. This is my third go round. I know Steve Peru has been doing it 4 times now on it to try and capture what our current legislative districts are, listen to the listening sessions, also note what are our common communities of interest. A lot of people might mention national forest, fire, I-17 corridor, economic corridors, and from those we build what we have. The other piece that we've tried to do is also consider the Voting Rights Act and minority majority populations. In our case, in our region, we have a Native American minority and majority district that's been created, and respecting the Voting Rights Act, we attempted to draw maps that helped us fortify that conversation of how do you populate this minority majority district that captures our communities of interest in our region, while also understanding our county would get split. And we had a competitive district where we've been lumped together with the Verde Valley. We've shared common communities of interest, as well as some of our southern communities. And so I could probably go on, but what I want to do is provide an opportunity. Patrice could fortify how we've drawn our maps and what we've done with them, key points associated with it. And important piece I think we want to build with this effort right now is we want people to come forward and testify, explain why these are important communities of interest, bring your soul, your heart to the meetings, why it makes sense for these to happen so that the IRC will pause and listen to us and hopefully modify their maps to align with what we're suggesting.
Thank you, Chair Ryan, for that background. So this does occur every 10 years, folks, and this committee is put together to look at the maps and I guess implement some changes. So here we are doing that today. Supervisor Horstman, you want to speak to some of the county's positions?
Yes, I would, and I'd like to underscore also what the chair has said. You know, this is really an important time, and I think a lot of people in our community are not aware what redistricting is and what the importance of it is. Yeah, it happens every 10 years because of changing populations and demographics, and the intent is try to create an equal population base. So if there are changes, they need to basically change the legislative districts to have more one vote, one person, one vote, which is what the intent and purpose is. So redistricting is all about having a voice at the state legislature or in the Congress. It's very important for us here in Northern Arizona. We're a rural district. So when you talk about equal voice and you're talking about population, we're going to have a much bigger geographic because there are less numbers up here. We have a unique rural voice, and as stated by our chair, it is a voice that needs to be heard at the state legislature. If we get lumped in with other communities that do not reflect our unique ruralness up here in Northern Arizona and our unique population and multiculturalism, Hispanic population, Native American population, a concern, as you know, for public lands, then we lose our ability to affect our community. This is really important. Please listen to what the chair is saying. We need your voice. We need you there. Coconino County has been working with our consultants and with others to try to draw a map that sets forth the values of us here in Northern Arizona. These also are the same values that have been articulated by the IRC for the drawing of these maps. We meet, in fact, competitiveness. That is, we have a district where it's competitive. Either party has an opportunity of being able to win the district. It also maintains our communities of interest. And the map is up so you can see it. The yellow is our proposed legislative district 6, and the purple is the proposed legislative district 7. It keeps competitiveness, keeps communities of interest together. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Creates equal population. It has geographical compactness, and it keeps our cities whole. You'll see Flagstaff is there, whole. Greater Flagstaff is there. It's all part of the same. The same is true for Sedona. Now, the proposed maps by the IRC, the favored maps by the IRC, in fact, split Coconino County. It splits Flagstaff. It splits Sedona. It splits and dilutes our voice. Further, what we drew is extremely competitive in terms of the breakdown between Democrats and Republican. It is 49.8 Democrat and 50.1 Republican. You can't get more competitive than that. Gives everybody an opportunity to be heard. Further, the Legislative District 7, the map, meets the goals of the Native American community to have a majority or a minority majority legislative district in District 7. This is what has just now been put up is the proposed map, which we do not support. And we hope that the community will come out in support of our map and not this map. If you take a look at it, it divides Flagstaff, primarily Greater Flagstaff. Flagstaff would go in with a District 6, which would be primarily a Navajo district, but then it wraps around and it brings in the other Native American districts farther south. What this is similar to corralling all the Native American tribal lands into one district, which then dilutes their voice in other districts. So we are not in favor of this. It cuts Flagstaff in half, cuts Coconino County in half, cuts Sedona in half, and the District 7 that they're creating, trying to corral the tribal lands together, ultimately also dilutes the voting strength of this minority majority district that they're naming as District 7. So we are not in favor of this.
So again, I just want to I'm going to put up the county proposed map. So now that the public's had the chance to see both during your comments, let's just put this up one more time. So this is what the county is proposing, of which the city is supportive of. And Mayor, if you want to jump in, maybe now's a good time. I'll turn the mic over to you.
Yeah, the city council is in full support of the map that the county put together, which I'm very thankful for all the work that has been done by Matt Ryan, Patrice Horstman, Steve Brewer, the county manager, and everyone that's been involved with this. As you can see in this circumstance, Flagstaff is whole. That we have the surrounding communities that have shared interests. For example, with forest health and our flooding issues that we all know about. When the Sycamore Canyon fire, the Raphael fire this summer was hitting, it was going to hit Kachina Village before it hit Flagstaff. In the current IRC map, we are divided. It stops at Fort Hill and the airport. Kachina Village and Mountain Air aren't even in our district. When it's not just a matter of with wildfires, but we share healthcare resources, water management, we share the Grand Canyon tourism. The folks in Kachina are typically going to work in Flagstaff, not down to Prescott. And therefore, we have a shared economic interest. People are shopping in Flagstaff, not down in Prescott regularly from some of these surrounding communities. So when we talk about our common interests and how we are represented in the state, splitting up our greater community, as Supervisor Horstman said, dilutes our voice, dilutes our interests in being able to do everything from manage our water to our healthcare resources to workforce development, to commerce, to everything else, natural disasters. It makes sense that we remain whole, and dividing our community and creating uncompetitive districts. And that's an important factor with this too, is that, as Supervisor Horstman said, if it is a 50-50 split, our representatives are forced to listen to us, that they may not be elected again next year if they don't represent our interests. Whereas if it's 2-to-1 split between Republican Democrat or 2-to-1 Democrat Republican, or really consolidating all those boundaries into certain areas, that means politicians are just going to know that, oh, well, I have a guaranteed seat next year anyways. I don't have to listen to the people. And that's what the key is with this. It's about representing the people, and how we draw the lines for election season is so much affects the future of our representation. It affects our republic and the foundation of our country, and the ability for the people to be heard through these processes. And that is why we're, again, thankful for the county for having worked on this, found a way to create a more fair and just method of approaching redistricting. Because this is going to affect us for the next 10 years. It's going to affect every decision. All those issues I just mentioned are going to be affected based on how these lines are drawn. So with that, I'm happy to turn it over to Adam or whoever else regarding that. But that's really where the city is and the city council is positioned with this situation.
Yeah, and it's great. collaborating with the county on this and our values all lining up in our advocacy. I think that's extremely important for our success here, because we have a lot to overcome, folks, and we really need your help. Like as folks have mentioned, we need the public's help in speaking up and engaging in the process and letting the IRC know what the community concerns are and opinions are and feelings are. Maybe you think that the IRC's draft map is good, and if so, let them know. But if you do agree with the county and the city's concerns about keeping Flagstaff whole, maybe that is how you speak up is in regards to that. I'm going to open it up to the group really quick. Are there, or maybe what I'll do is I'll talk about the two upcoming opportunities, and then we can talk about what the public, what their role is in this and how they can speak up. So let me do a quick screen share again and show you all something. Okay, let's see. I think this is the right one. Okay, so here it is. So tomorrow, November 6th, Saturday, at 10 a.m., there is a meeting by this public body, the Arizona Independent Redistricting Commission, and it's a virtual event, and the link is here. And if you want to submit public comment, I believe there is information on how to do so somewhere in here, but you have to do it by 9 a.m. And there's links to all this in the description to this live stream. But this is a virtual opportunity to speak up tomorrow at 10 a.m. But again, you have to submit your public request to speak by 9 a.m. And then secondly, let me show you the other one that's also linked in the description to this video that we're all in. Let me see if I can grab it 1 second. I think, let's see. I think it might be this. Yes. Okay. So this is the virtual town hall we just discussed. That's tomorrow. And then if you scroll down here to Wednesday, you'll see that there's quite a few public hearings happening that this commission's doing, but there's a public hearing Wednesday at 6 p.m. in Flagstaff at the High Country Conference Center at 201 West Butler Avenue. And this is a in-person meeting. I'm not sure if there's a virtual option, but this is definitely an in-person option for a meeting and an opportunity for us to show up as a community and comment on this as a community. So these are the two opportunities within the 30-day public review that commission is currently going through, and this is our chance to speak up. If we don't speak up and they move forward with the plan, we're going to have problems moving forward, as have been mentioned and commented to. But these are our two opportunities. Folks on the call, are there anything you'd like to add to what I just said?
Yeah, if I may. So the IRC, their intent is they have this 30-day listening session. They're hoping to define districts by December 1. And so bringing a repetitive voice and bringing a groundswell is really important at this point. Is speak to points of interest, show the communities of interest. Also speaking to the IRC points of consistency with Proposition 106. The competitive nature of districts is very important. Beyond that, achieving a minority majority district for LD7 is actually part of the Voting Rights Act and very important. And I could say in our map, we achieved one of the highest percentages to actually assist in providing that minority majority district so that there's a potential for a Native American candidate to be a representative of LD7, and our percentage is close to 57%. which is really important. The other piece, just to add on, we're also suggesting in the competitive district, we align with the Verde Valley. We did with our last legislative district in many communities of interest, whether it's watershed, forest-based issues, the economy that's linked by the I-17 corridor, coming up through Oak Creek, through I-17 to the Grand Canyon. So there are a lot of common interests that we find with the Verde, and why we're suggesting they also help represent, they can provide a representative from the Verde, just as the city of Flagstaff or the greater Flagstaff community might be able to provide candidates and representatives. So in the end, we're trying to get representatives for each of our communities to represent our region well on this.
And if I can also, Councilmember Shimoni, if you can't make it to either the virtual event on Saturday or the live event on Wednesday, you can always make your public comments using the IRC online portal. So that's also an option for you. Their comments need to be in by November 20th, so time is running out. It is important, if you believe it is important, that we here in Coconino County and in the city of Flagstaff have a right and control over our destiny and over our future, then you need to speak out now. Now is the time. We have interest, as the mayor has pointed out. We all know that we need to maintain these communities of interest. We need to have a strong voice. Now is the time, not tomorrow. Now is the time to be heard, to take a stand. Let the IRC know we here in Flagstaff, we here in Coconino County, in Sedona, in the Verde Valley, have special needs, special concerns, and we want a voice and a seat at the table to be heard at the state legislature and, of course, in Congress. So thank you, Adam, for allowing us to be here. Really appreciate this.
Absolutely. And Mayor, I'm going to let you jump in too if you have anything to add, and we'll take a couple of the questions that popped up in the comment section. But I just want to let folks know we had about 40 folks tuning in. It looks like we're closer to about 20 at the moment. Folks who are tuning in, if you wouldn't mind sharing this video with your groups, with your connection, your friends, your family, we got to get this information out. Yep. Time is of the essence. There's 2 opportunities to engage, one tomorrow, Saturday, and one next Wednesday. And as you hear from the folks on this call, the time to engage is now, and that things are happening in this next month window. This is our chance, and we really need the public to speak out and engage. So really quick, Ryan Baker writes, what draft map should I be looking at on the redistricting website? 10.0, 10.1, 10.2? Ryan, that's a good question. And Chair Ryan or Supervisor Horstman, if you have a thought on this, let me know. But I'm going to show you what Ryan's talking about here. You can open up this document, and it'll show you all these different drafts, because this commission is changing, and they're changing their draft maps pretty regularly, it seems like. Right. So anyone have a comment to this?
I know that 10.0 is their proposed maps. Those are not the county's maps. And you ask a great question. And the adopted maps, the Arizona, I'm trying to look and see the because it is changing. It's 10.0 is their proposed map. It is not our proposed map. And I don't know, Matt, do you have the our number for our proposed map?
Let me look and see. I'm getting Greg to pull them up. In terms of which maps to look at from the legislative maps, our testimony is speaking to the 10.0, because that is the map that the Independent Redistricting Commission put forward. So
that's not our map.
That is not our map. I'm speaking to the original question, which ones on the IRC site are we looking at and comparing to associated with that? We did just get a listing. I have congressional, and legislative district maps. Our legislative district 6 map is LDF 050. That's LDF 050 and LDF 051. So we have 2 different legislative district maps. We have a proposal for legislative district 6 and legislative district 7. It should be noted that when you're looking at 10.0, the Redistricting Commission flips those numbers. So when they're speaking to 7, they're speaking our suggested map, which is consistent with our currently existing legislative districts, have always been defined as legislative district 6. And so LD 5050, that's the LD 61, that on the Redistricting Commission map is listed as 7. And then LD 7, that's LD 5051, that is our legislative district 7 map that we're suggesting on that.
I'll also jump in, and since you're looking at the IRC website, you will find tables on there as well that will show you what the proportion Dem Republican are, what's the proportion of ethnicities, and it gives a competitiveness score to each of those, so that you can see exactly what we're talking about when we're discussing the competitiveness of these districts and the representation associated. So please check out those tables. They're very enlightening for what we're concerned about.
And if you can, Adam, if you could add to your website here, we've got a note from the county that when commenting on the county's map, to please, in your written comments or in your comments, to please refer to the numbers that were just provided to you by the county chair, or by our Board of Supervisor chair. LD F050 for LD6, and for LD7, LDF 051. So please refer to the map numbers when you're making comments.
We'll add that to the description of this video after we're off the live stream. But that's great feedback. Thanks for sharing that. And then Eric Nolan writes, please post the link so we can send in our comments. The links to the 2 events that are coming up are in the description to this video. It looked like when I was opening them up just now on my computer that there's a way to click on comment on the draft, but for whatever reason on my computer it's not working. Does anyone know who they should be emailing who's on this call?
You mean for the comments?
Yeah.
The comments, and there is a on the website is and I can give that just a minute here. I just am going to it. It's irc.az.gov/contact-us/public-comments. So I will send that to you, Adam, so you can add that to your list. I do have that on my Facebook site. If anybody needs that, if you go to my Facebook site, you will see that link, and it should take you there to the comment section. I can tell you people are having difficulty using the website and the comment section. You've got to ferret your way through it, unfortunately. It's not easy.
Okay, and I have an email, and the email is ircadmin@azdoa.gov. That is ircadmin@azdoa.gov.
Okay. Feel free to put those 2 addresses in the chat box if you're able to, Matt and Patrice, if you see that ability.
Yes, I do. It says a private chat, but I'll put it in there. And I see that Mayor Deasy already put it in there. So, and I'll put the other one in there as well. So.
Yes, I don't think I see your chat, but okay. maybe other folks can.
I put it in the private chat. I was having issues trying to find it for the comment section, but
Yeah, I don't know if we have the comment section capability, so we'll
Oh,
put
I
it
see
in.
that. Okay, I'll go ahead and put that in the
oh,
comment.
there we go. Matt got it. Thank you.
Okay. Yep, there it goes. Good. Very good. Any other questions, folks, from the public before we wrap up? Appreciate you all tuning in. Again, thank you to our supervisor, Chair Matt Ryan, and Supervisor Horstman and Mayor Deasy. In closing, again, please do submit public comment. Engage tomorrow during that town hall. Public comment for tomorrow needs to be submitted. If you want to request to speak, you have to request before 9 a.m. tomorrow when the town hall begins at 10. And then Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the High Country Conference Center. Please join us there in person. We will be there, and we will see you there. Any closing comments really quick, folks?
Just want to say, just wanted to say thank you, Adam, for putting this on and helping us with getting the public outreach. It's extremely important, and this is a very, very time-sensitive issue that we have to act on now.
Yeah, and I would add to that more important to hear from the public. We will provide testimony as your representatives, but we need the public out there providing bring your heart and help us out. The clock's ticking, and we need a groundswell. We definitely need IRC to hear us.
Absolutely. And thank you all for being here. Thank you, Adam, for getting us all together. Appreciate the wisdom and comments here of my two colleagues. And come on, let's be heard. Now's the time. Please get out, make your comments, and be heard.
Thank you all so much. We'll see you soon, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.